Seeds, and welcome to Soulful Sunday, a weekly video where we dive in and take a look at any channeled messages for the upcoming week. So this video is for the upcoming week of Sunday, February 6th, all the way until Saturday, February 12th. Now let's get into it. We've got 2 full pages worth of notes from Spirit that I channeled before coming on here and filming the video. First message from Spirit. They want to talk about abundance, specifically money and financial abundance from an energetic perspective. That's always what we want to aim to do on this channel, is zooming out and looking at things from a higher perspective, spiritual perspective, what lessons are there to learn, etc. So when we zoom out on money in terms of abundance and financial abundance, money is energy. So any attempt to stifle or restrict or bring to a halt a flow of financial abundance or a flow of money is an attempt to stifle or snuff out the energy behind it. Now, energy is electric and contagious. Whether it is negative energy fed on through fear or fed by fear, or positive energy fed by hope and love, either or, it can spread and influence easily when enough people are involved on both sides of the coin. The energy that is happening right now in regards to the convoys that have been happening, I took a look at this last week in last week's video where I channeled it, but the energy I was shown is like a river. So you can put a dam on the river and it's still going to find another way to flow, another way to go. And any attempt to stifle money is an attempt to stifle energy, because money is energy. So zooming out and looking at what's been playing out with that from that energetic perspective. Second message. The energy behind this movement, it can't be stopped. It can be ridiculed. There can be attempts to stifle the energy, like we just talked about with the money, attempts to twist and manipulate the motives behind the energy or to cherry pick certain people behind the energy. But in the end, energy doesn't lie. And when I tapped into this movement last week and I really got myself into a neutral state when I was connected to my higher self, and I immediately felt a blast of love and unity in my heart chakra. And I have to trust that. I have to go with that, because energy, it doesn't lie. So the truth will continue to come out, and along with that, the attempts to continue to divide or distract us over it will continue aplenty. So, I mean, expect more, I don't know what to call it. Just expect more angles, more stories, more. Just expect anything that can be thrown to try to damper the energy behind this movement. And like I said, when I tapped into it last week, it really was a pure heart vibrational energy of unity. That's what I felt, and I trust that 110%. So the next message is, we talk a lot on this channel about fear versus love, and the energies behind that. Well, unity versus division is another branch of that. The powers that were fear unity and love, because that equates to a loss of power, control, and also money. Message number 4, the light always fills and finds its way through any cracks of the darkness. And you know, this is kind of a bit of a similar message that came through last week, and I feel like when these messages come through and they're repetitive, it's because they're meant to be repetitive. So maybe we need a refresher on this Soulful Sunday as we begin this week. It's good to have reminders of messages. With so much going on, repetition of certain messages that have certain power or hold to them can help us to stay centered and aligned for the upcoming week. Next message. I really did feel like for this week coming up, there's an opportunity for reconciliation between people who have let their differences distract and get the best of them and affect their personal relationships. I was shown people coming together in terms of close friendships, but also family, I feel too. And again, not for everyone, because there's certain things that need to play out still, but I just feel this energy of reconciliation this week. And I see, yeah, people coming together. I see apologies. I see forgiveness, people putting their differences aside and healing relationships so we can move forward and continue to have these relationships if they are of value to us and they benefit both sides and are in alignment. So look out for that. You might get an apology from someone this week. You might hear from someone you've had a disagreement with, or vice versa. You might feel like reaching out to someone to try to salvage a friendship or personal relationship or whatever kind of connection that you might have had with someone that fell apart due to different points of view. Just look for that energy. There is an energy this week of this reconciliation, forgiveness, self-awareness, self-reflection, and coming to a place where we are willing to sit at the table with people that have different opinions with us in the name of unity and love and continuing these relationships that we value. Next message sort of ties into what we just said. I wrote down kindness, patience, empathy, self-reflection. Lots of people changing their minds in terms of like what they stand for and what they believe in, and a lot of flipping back and forth, which is totally understandable because there is just so much going on all the damn time. So it's a lot, and just being kind of aware of that there's going to be a lot of kind of like flip-flopping this week because people are trying to figure it out and they're trying to do, I personally feel a lot of people are trying to do the right thing and to stand in their truth and what is right and what is right for them. And that can take some time to figure out, discern, and navigate, especially when you've been bombarded the last 2 years with a lot of noisy, chaotic, tiring energies. So giving people, allowing people and also yourself the time to sort of navigate these energies and figure out where it is exactly you stand and if there are any nuances there or wiggle room for opportunity for growth of seeing another side of the coin. So then the next message that I got was, I wrote down waiting game, and I was shown the analogy of a seesaw in terms of the energy behind the government that is in power right now in Canada. So I was shown like a seesaw. They are also doing a lot of flipping back and forth, again, that flipping back and forth energy, deciding on how to deal with or respond to this movement and the people that are protesting. I did also get that they did not think it was going to get this much traction, and they also did not think it was going to go on for this long. So that has been sort of a shock to them, I would say. And then I actually specifically got a message energetically about Trudeau, which is interesting because I don't normally name drop on this channel. It's more of an energy thing, but I did specifically, I think, because he is like sort of seen as the main leader of Canada, and there has been a wait for a more lengthy response, or one that is not so tone deaf and that is like on par with what is actually happening. So I actually got that he is actually willing to sit down and have a conversation about this, but he is being advised by people higher than him in terms of power not to. So he's being advised not to sit down and have a conversation with these people or have an open conversation for fear of further unity. Again, this is the biggest fear of the powers that were, is that we all just put all our shit aside and come together and unify as one. So there is fear that if he does do this, that can open the door for more of that unity energy, and they don't want that to happen. But this sitting duck energy of just sort of sitting back, not really doing anything, not really like properly acknowledging it in a conscious way, it's not going to last that much longer, because there's only so much time that you can not deal, especially with the as the leader of a country. Like, that is your responsibility to be able to sit down with these people and people that have views that are different from you, and to hear them and to hear their concerns and to have these conscious conversations. And we haven't been seeing that from the leadership. So yeah, so this energy of this sitting, waiting duck energy, it's just not gonna last much longer. It's got to do something about it, right? So I also wrote down, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Like, his hands are kind of tied here, and that goes back to him wanting to have this conversation, but him being told that it's not a good idea. So I think there's like they're trying to work out some stuff there with that. It would be, either way, it's going to be a calculated response, because they're very aware that because this movement sort of was kickstarted here in Canada, they're very aware that how they choose to respond is a message to the rest of the world if anyone else is catching on to this movement and they're doing things in other countries. So it's like setting an example or a tone for everybody else. So there's a lot of different energies at play there, and we're just going to leave it at that, because the overall message from Spirit about that I wrote down is, whatever timeline plays out, the finer details of this, in the grand scheme of things, the finer details of this don't really matter, as the energy behind this is so infectious. It has created a ripple effect of hope and empowerment and unity in the collective. And just another reminder from Spirit that this cannot be stopped. If it's unsuccessful here and they crack down and there's harder restrictions or whatever timeline that is, if that happens to happen, that energy is just going to pop up somewhere else, because energy moves, right? Energy never dies. It moves around. So it will pop up and continue in other parts of the world. The torch has been lit, the flame grows, and the spark of it all started in Canada. And one of the last messages, 2 more things from Spirit, is to take breaks from social media and the news. Even if you're not watching mainstream media or reading the mainstream newspapers, your own independent news, whatever, just being able to take a step back from that this week and giving yourself breaks. I feel like every day this week we need to like consciously make an effort to step back and not be on our phones so much. And it can be addicting because you want to know what's happening and you don't know, like I get all that, and we want to be informed, but having a balance there with how much you're willing to engage with that. And that is because I wrote down, staying in it too long is like bathing in dirty bath water. So when we take a break from it, it's like we're recharging our batteries, we're recharging, cleaning out, having clean, fresh bath water. So when we decide to dive back in and look at our phones or look at what's going on, we can have a freshened perspective. So because it's really easy, either way, where however you stand on this, on what's happening, it's really easy to spiral and go down like a dark hole, like on the internet, on your phone, like reading all these stories and watching people's experiences. So just remembering to take a break from that, stepping back, taking a few deep breaths, going for a walk if you can, watching something else on the TV. It's really good to bring balance, because you don't ever want to be too much in anything, right? We need to have that balance so that we can be able to discern and have that strong inner compass. And just as a last sort of reminder or message from Spirit, is that we always want to anchor in and hold the light for the highest timeline possible. So just keeping that in mind this week, like even if you see something that doesn't really resonate or upsets you, just knowing that there's a grander scheme, there's a grander plan that's playing out right now, like a chessboard. So not to be so caught up in every little move and to be so upset over every little move. It's zooming out and looking at the higher perspective, looking at the whole chessboard and what's actually happening with this game, and the dominoes will fall where they lay. And energy does not lie. Okay, so we're just gonna do a quick little card pull just to see if there's anything else we need to know about the energies this week. And we are working this week with the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle by Lon, L-O-N. So I'm just gonna shuffle these cards and we're just gonna ask if there's any other messages that want to come through for this week. Interesting. Okay, so I've pulled 4 cards, and I'm just going to go through them one by one. So the first card, interestingly enough, is the Divine Feminine card. And the card says, the frequency of Divine Feminine supports our receptive, nurturing, and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all of creation. Beautiful. Love it. And I see that as like softening into our truth as we get more comfortable speaking our truth and having these conversations with people that have different opinions. Just being able to step into that empowered, soft but strong divine feminine energy is going to be really helpful to help you navigate this week. Next card is Belief, and it is number 11, 1-1 energy. The frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection of source. So believing that change is possible, that unity is possible, and that nothing ever really stays the same, ever. Everything happens in cycles, right? And believing that, when we all come together with our energies and we focus into one goal, that we can really amplify and create change here. That's how I'm interpreting that card. And then, okay, so I pulled this card last week. Was it last week? Or for Wellness Wednesday last week, I pulled this card, the Magic card. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment to move toward possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is our belief in their manifestation. And I mean, that sort of ties into what I just talked about, believing what you're seeing in terms of the unity and the love, and that is possible, despite other ulterior motives or other people trying to hijack the movement or make it something that it's not. Last card, Remembrance. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul in body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. Wow, beautiful. And beautiful image there too. I look at this card and I hear, remember who you are. Remember who you are. A lot of us are starting to remember who we are, how powerful we are, how powerful our voice is, and how powerful love and kindness is, and responding with love and kindness. Like, how much more powerful is that than playing into or reacting to certain things? Wow, that is awesome. Okay, so those are our messages for this week. We'll do a quick recap. We talked about abundance and money as energy, and when anyone tries to stifle or block money, they're trying to block and stifle energy. That the energy behind the freedom movement can't be stopped. If it is, it'll just pop up somewhere else in the world. Talking about fear and love, unity and division. The light always fills and finds its way through any cracks of darkness. Opportunity for reconciliation, forgiveness, apology, coming together this week with those you might have had a falling out with or a disagreement with. Kindness, patience, empathy. The waiting game, that sitting duck energy, knowing that they have to respond at some point, and just we talked about that a little bit. And then just knowing that ultimately whatever timeline plays out, the finer details of this don't really matter, because again, higher perspective, the light has already won. We are just living through and playing this out. And last but not least, taking breaks from social media. Don't stay too long in that dirty bathwater, and always wanting to anchor in and hold the light for the highest timeline possible. All right, that's it for your messages for this upcoming week. If this resonated with you, please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Love hearing from you guys in the comments. And I will see you back here next week for the next Soulful Sundays channeled messages. Namaste. Have a great week. Ciao.